I have as far as a discovery with Ollantaytambo, as far as their megalith that features something that they're considering the Chicana. Now, I know that I've shown you all that this is it right here, right? But an important feature that does not need to be looked over are some details that I noticed upon looking at this that look just like my work as well. As I zoom into this, we already know that I went over the fact that if you do the stair count, it has the exact same stair count. So if you count these stairs, you get 0, which would be 0 and 9 at the farthest edge here. And if you count it like this is right here, you would end up with 5 as the last one. Well, that last one that is 5, when you look right there, you can see that there's something that looks like a hole. Almost like 2 holes right next to each other if you pay attention. 2 squares with another huge square down below it, like you see right here where 4 and 5 are. You see how that looks? Can you see it? You probably can see it really good. I know I can see it good, but check that out. Back away from the phone a lot. When you look at it, back away from the phone. Because as you can see right there, as I zoom out, it's still in the same spot relatively. You see it? It casts a shadow. You gotta look really good. That's end to end. And if you can understand what I'm saying that this 4 and 5 that you have right here, that's the same thing that you see right there. And so if you count the stairs, you end up with number 3 being the next stair. You got number 2, which would be 1. You're counting upward now. And then you have, or really you're counting backwards. So number, it'll be 5, and then 6, then 7, and 8, and then 9. If you see that there. The thing is, they did not measure it precisely to a 45th degree angle. But that doesn't mean that it's not the same thing. You can very easily tell that this is like freehand or something. I could draw this by measuring it out with a grid. If I was trying to sign something, if you understand that, with my recent video that I just showed, the young man in that video that made that video as the author, he literally mentioned that this seems like a signature. And that's what I'm showing y'all. This here is a signature. That's what I was showing y'all as far as the Nazca Sun Star. That's a signature that you have right there. I can't lie about anything that I'm showing you all. And so the fact is, when you look at this and you look at that, you look at the top up there, you see the exact same formation up there at the top. They're the same thing. I mean, that's crazy. Look at that. That's quite amazing, man. So therefore, I'm gonna replay that video one more time with the 11 people and 4 people that are in here. I knew that this is attention keeping. I don't know why y'all don't like the video, but you see the information. Can you argue with the information that I'm showing? Are there any, if this is not what the explanation to what this is factually, then what is another explanation to really give for it? Is it words that go there? Does it look like a mountain is something that you crawl upward like that? No, that's not a symbol of a mountain. So you can pretty much, where else have you used deductive reasoning in order to factualize something? So where else have you seen this at in nature? You don't find this anywhere in nature. So obviously it was something important if they did leave it on an ancient stone. When it was made is really not the even huge question. It's what they made. And you can see that this is all over the earth. You can find this everywhere. So I really need y'all to understand that this is not something that you could, with all of these different cultures like Arabia, like I just showed y'all yesterday. I just showed y'all the Middle East, they have this. There's nowhere else with any other culture that you could show a symbol that every single culture that has different languages, their characters for their languages, everything is different. Their foods they eat are different. The clothes they wear are different. And the one thing that they have in common is this symbol that you have right here, this form of geometry. So I don't understand what people wouldn't get, man. That's quite amazing. So I'm gonna show this video real quick too, just in case y'all didn't hear him. How many people we got in here now? 4 already. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you. Why you're here, I don't know, but you see why I'm here. And I'm here to help and teach. I'm showing you answers to things that you all don't know the answers to. Straight up. So the facts are, at the end of the day, I'm helping teach you things that you don't know about your ancient cultures. If this has to deal with every single continent across the earth, which I'm showing, that means that you cannot escape that this has to deal with your ancestors. Every single one of you. It's not just about black people, it's about all people. From Mexicans to Indians to Arabians. I'm showing you the answers to your ancient history. And so when you ask questions about the ley lines, energy, when you talk spiritually about energy and things like that, you have to understand that this is something that these buildings, as far as architecture, literally have to deal with. There's something called geomancy that you can also look up. This will help you understand. Geomancy is something that looks very much like my discovery, but it has to deal with the energy grid of the earth and aligning buildings with it. And that's pretty much what you see the Nazca lines to be. So, what is the name of it? I just said it. There it is. So geomancy, when you look it up, I'm not an indulger of this. I don't believe in this. I don't use it or anything like that. But that's what the Nazca lines is similar to as well, as far as geometry. That's why they both have geo in them. So when you look at geomancy, that looks very much similar to what you saw with the Nazca sun star. What you see here is the earth. And you see that right there that looks just like the Nazca sun star. Understand? See how similar they look? Pretty much cousins, you know, look like family. So at that point, that's showing you that, but I was showing you this video for a reason, so I don't mean to get off track.
After together, the quarry was some say that these vertical looking strips that you see here are some sort of earthquake proof shim that would allow for this wall to move with the earth.
So here last night I was skimming across YouTube to try to see where I could find any details of this up close, because I figured, I noticed that I saw a right angle down there at the bottom like I showed you all, and that right there was strikingly odd. That shows intent with something, because usually when you look at rock formations, they can have right angles. I'm not saying that they can't, but they usually don't make right angles like that. As far as the designs, the markings that they have on them.
That you see here are some sort of earthquake-proof shim that would allow for this wall to move with the earth.
See right here? This is what I'm talking about down here in this area. That's where you can see these two squares right here. That's where 5 and 4 go on my work. And down here you see a square area beneath, and that's exactly what I have on my work. That's what I'm explaining to everybody. And the other count, at the edge you would have 9, 8, 7, then 6, and then 5 would be right here where you have that at, and 4, of course. And that's where these two are at right here. That's what I was trying to show you. You can see a shadow that's right here. And that's the shadow that I was trying to show you in there. I'm not making anything up. I mean, is there a shadow right there? Yes, there's a shadow right there. Is there an indentation right there that reflects symmetry? Yes. So I see two punctures right there within the stone that reflect symmetry. I know that with my work, they also are two numbers that reflect symmetry. I know that the rest of the pattern does have the same type of geometry as my work, but different measurements because it seems to be freehand. And so I see a lot of things that, more things that point towards it looking exactly like my work than things that tell me no, it's not it. And that's something that it wouldn't be smart for me to look over. You know, so just because anybody else could look over it, that doesn't mean that they're smart for looking over it. Do you not know that people are walking over things that can make them rich every single day? Literally. There's somebody out there that you walk past a plant that they chose to pick up and create something with. So just because you walk past something and you look at something and you can't find any value in something does not mean that it does not have significant value. In fact, you might not realize the value in it. That's all it is. So just because y'all, if you choose not to show any value towards or appreciation towards my work, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. Just because there's 15 people, 30 people, 45 people, 500 people watching and they don't hit the like button, it doesn't mean that there's no value to my work and that my work can't be debunked. None of you are dropping any comments that can debunk my work. That's how I know that I'm not wrong either and I'm not crazy. Because if I were crazy, y'all would drop comments and let me know that I'm crazy and that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I ain't seen that happen yet. And you know that I'm an open book. You know that I'm not ignorant. I'll listen to you. What is it? What's your constructive criticism? Excuse me, my tongue. What is your constructive criticism? Because I'm going to listen. I'm going to let it go. Take heed to what it is you have to say. But if you have no facts, nothing to prove anything that you're talking about, don't think that I'm going, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Vertical looking strips that you see here are some sort of earthquake proof shim that would allow for this wall to move.
Pay attention to what he says here.
Could this be a design or some sort of signature?
You hear what he said?
Move with the earth. Could this be a design or some sort of signature?
Or some sort of signature. Now, do you see this? You see that that square that's right there? I know y'all can see that. You got the corner of the square that's right here in the center of the screen. And then you got another corner that's right here in the center of the screen. Alright? And now they're pretty much equidistant from the edges of the screen. So that's the top half. But you can see that it stops not as a square right here. That's showing you see that line that's in the center of the screen, but it's equidistant to this. That shows that somebody made that. And so that there is significant because it's showing the value of some numbers even. When you have those right there that are like that, it's showing you the extreme significance of some, it's a signature. That's a sign of nature of somebody. And I couldn't lie about any of this, bro. I couldn't make any of this up. It's crazy. So that's the video that I had to share with you all today. I hope you enjoy learning from this. I know for sure that you haven't seen this anywhere else. But I enjoy every time being able to showcase everything that I'm showcasing. It's not about the likes. It ain't even about the comments. It's about the fact that I know that if I were wrong, somebody would say that and show that I'm wrong. What are your questions that you have that prove me wrong, even with question base? How do I know that those are numbers? I got something else that I could show you all too. I mean, I've went through things like asking the AI, even though the AI is not the most, I'm not saying that it's the end all be all, but being that I can't talk to you all human beings and get a response from y'all, and y'all actually constructively criticize my work and tell me where y'all mind is at. Where is y'all mind at? What are you thinking when you see my work? I need to know, because if you think I'm crazy, show and prove that I'm crazy. If you think that I have no facts behind any evidence that I'm showing, show and prove that. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to talk crazy to you or anything. I'm not going to call you stupid. You're actually smart for actually, and you actually got a soul, it shows. You're not just going to feed off of whatever somebody gives you. I'm nothing to be afraid of. At the end of the day, there's something called, that I was looking up earlier, that helps authenticate what I was saying. La Chacana, lunar versus solar. So check this out. So apparently, like I was showing y'all, you have two different Chacanas. Or not just two, but different forms of it. So you have the Chacana, which is solar, the solar Chacana. And as you can see, it has 3 steps. But you have a lunar one as well, which is like the one found in Tiwanaku, and it has 4 steps. Now, what do you call, if they're showing you that they do have, and that they are number based, they're showing and proving you that right there. That's what I'm showing and proving you. So y'all can't think that I'm crazy for showing y'all that when you look at that Chicana that I just showed y'all, that those are numbers, that's my discovery. Because it has the 5 steps. It doesn't look like those ones that you see right there just even. With the 3 steps or 4 steps. You see 5 steps like mine. And I'm showing you what the 5 steps means. That's what I'm showing and proving y'all. Because when you do those 5 steps and you carry on that fractal, you realize what those numbers are as far as this fractal being, you're going to end up where you have this geometry come up. There is no other way to do it, but there's a step-by-step process and realization. This doesn't pop up to a human being as a picture in the head. And if it did, you'd be seeing exactly what I drew. And it would have no numbers necessarily. It would have just, I mean, if you did see this, think about it. If you did see this, how would you see it if it weren't numbers in there, without color and numbers? You would just have an outline. How else could this come to the imagination is what I'm getting at right there. As far as when they drew the Chicana like you just saw at Ollantaytambo, where did they see that at? If they didn't see it in nature and it came to the mind, it's like, you know, like a download or something like that, like a meditative download. What do you think they would have saw? What color was it at that point? Because everything has color in order for you to see something, even if it was white light. So that's very important. These are questions that you, if you're going to say that it's not what I'm showing, you have to be able to answer these questions. These are questions you have to ask. And so I'm not going to string this video out. Like I say, thank you all for coming like y'all did. And I'm going to end this one here. I'll be back tomorrow. Because like I said, I'm going to keep on doing this. I'm going to be as frequent as I was. This is something that I love to do. This is something that nobody on earth knows of, clearly. You're talking, how old are these stones? So do you see the right angle that's made right down here? You see what I was just showing as far as those 2 punctures? You got 2 punctures at my work too, which are 4 and 5. And you got a right angle that's made right beneath it. You can literally, it looks just alike. Am I making anything up? I don't see how nobody would be like, bro, he's tripping. Y'all must think, I ain't gonna even say it. Check this out. I did this with Anchor Watt. This is how you help people get what you're saying too real good on the real. You put it directly on top. Now, of course, we know that this is not measured. It's just like every flower out here that grows with the Fibonacci sequence. They don't all look alike. You're building based off of a base concept of growth. That's what's going on here. You're not supposed to see everything perfectly squares when they even build with the architecture. It's a base sequence of code, of conduct, of growth. I'm telling you, nobody could teach you about it but me, because you can't find it anywhere else. That's what's crazy too. It comes from straight right here. This soul. That's what's crazy. So what I'm showing you is this right here. Excuse me. A little bit bigger. You see that? You see where 4 and 5 are at? Right there? On that bottom one. About right there. There's a right angle that's made right there. That's exactly the same thing. I don't see how nobody would be like, bro, what the fuck? You ain't got no like yet. I don't see. That's what I'm getting at, bro. It ain't about that, but I'm saying, like, this is what I'm saying as far as, if I'm tripping, why don't nobody say I'm tripping? And then, if I'm not tripping, how the hell it ain't amazing? Because the thing is, I wasn't around back then, right? And if it's a signature like me and that guy is trying to show you and tell you, which is what, look, man, it's one thing for somebody to tell you that there's somebody, or that they can do something or know something. It's another thing for them to, do it more than once. Like, let's say somebody, for a metaphor, shot a full court shot. You might think that they're lucky the first time. But once they do it 5 times in a row, you know that there's something going on there. You know that everybody can't do that. Okay, so how come I can show you Anchor Watt? And somebody might say that you're tripping if you just show my discovery in Anchor Watt and say, y'all, my discovery is the blueprint of Anchor Watt, even too. They'll probably say, okay, it looked like it, yeah, but that don't mean it is it. Right? Makes sense. If you've seen that first, it doesn't end there though. And then he make another full court shot, and he's the NASCAR star. You take the NASCAR star and you do what I'm doing right here with this. You put it right over it, and you see it. You get answers resolved from it. That's pure crazy. And then after that, it don't end there. You mean to tell me you can take this somewhere like this and put it over this? It don't end there. Then you got the Moldhair Sun Temple. That's why he drew out what he drew as far as his discovery. That's why I drew that out, man. I've done so much work. It's not to brag at all. It's called working hard and smart. Knowing what matters the most. I never did anything for nothing. So the Moldhair Sun Temple that you drew up there at that point, there it is. How many different things could I show? How does it not mean anything? When literally every ancient culture that I'm showing has this symbol. It's not just about India and the Mayan areas. Y'all have, each one of y'all has roots or ancestors. You're either white, black, Indian, Native American, something like that. And regardless, this shows a unified principle. You go back to these roots of a culture that has something to do with this symbol. In Arabia, it's there. If you have Arabian roots, somewhere where you're from, this has a root. There is no looking over. It's like discovering the true language. If you've seen it right here in front of you, the true language of human beings, you'll look right over it, or the original alphabet. I guess it don't mean nothing on it. I'm just saying, It's like somebody begging for attention, but they showing everything that they ass need to show that you the one might be tripping. Let's just say might, to be fair. Because it ain't about being cocky, it's about, damn, where the fuck do you see this? I guess this get done every day, huh? You see people do this shit every day. Now, what I tell you this has to deal with, a pyramid is going to be built to clean water. That's what you see drawn up here. That's a future, an optimistic crystal ball vision looking right into the future. That's a crystal ball, and that's how it's going to look. This is the blueprint that you see right here for it. How do I know? Because it was the blueprint for other ancient Mayans that I said literally have built stone monuments, pyramids on their land that were empires, the greatest empires. Don't forget Egypt. Their stuff is built at a 45-degree angle. You have to understand that. Everything that you see on my work is at a 45-degree angle, but when you look at that there, it's built at a 45-degree angle. The whole layout of the Great Pyramids of Giza. That's very important. The step pyramid of Djoser back down there, why does that matter? Because when you look at Djoser and then you look at me, we look alike. This was crazy. So it's crazy how it's all like it's replicating. They want to give us credit for doing that stuff back then and say we were greats and stuff. You heard a lot of this stuff when people was waking up. But then when you see a young nigga do some shit in modern day, it means nothing to people. It's something to look over and act like he ain't worth. I don't give a damn what your problem is with him. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't care. That's too fly. Some stuff you can't look over. Some stuff you can't outdo, man. When people gonna be silent about it, you got to be loud. Now it's time to counter back with loudness. You know, if people gonna be silent. That's just how I'm being. It ain't to be cocky, it's being real. I know it's more than two people watching. This stuff is hard to look over. Real talk. So there's the Moher Sun Temple, and I showed y'all that has to deal with the Mandelbrot set. When you look at the Mandelbrot set, if you pixelized or pixelated the Mandelbrot set, that's where you get this right here. It's basically just the Mandelbrot set pixelated. Nobody else is showing that. That would mean, and the Mandelbrot set is something that geometrically you have to have computing power in order to map out. This matters a lot because the Nazca lines itself, the way that they drew them out, if they didn't draw it out on paper, they had to have used a computer. If you didn't have paper, you have to understand this. So some form of computing, just like y'all think lights were around, computing might have been around too. Something very important to consider. We're talking about coding at the end of the day here, so shit crazy. I just went through this yesterday though. That's where I was showing with the Southern Lights. If you were trying to show that the Southern Lights would have to be a green ring around the flat earth if it were Southern Lights on the flat earth, which the flat earthers have not talked about at all. So that's crazy in itself. This is the digitalized version, the perfected version. And why does that matter? Because I just brought up the computer aspect of things. And that's what I had to use to do this. So if they knew about this from a computerized aspect of things, this had to pop up in some form or fashion. They had a technology that enabled them to do something like this. Grid out things, you know, electronically in some type of way to help them build their monuments. So I'm gonna leave that one there. I'm going to leave that to one there. So with Angkor Wat, if you want to see Angkor Wat one more time, up close, you see the Bayon Temple. Can you get it? Let's see if you could get it before me. That it has my geometry there
to reflect the sacred order of the universe. The faith bridges guarded by Naga balustrades, and a landscape meticulously mapped to reflect the sacred order of the universe.
That's what they were doing with them lions.
Ollantaytambo, the enigmatic heart of Angkor Thom. Deep within the sacred city of Angkor Thom lies one of Cambodia's most hauntingly beautiful and mysterious monuments, Ollantaytambo. Rising from the jungle like a stone lotus in bloom, to the Ark of the Covenant.
Now, what you have to understand too is what's the commonality with all of these temples that are built too? That they're the drawing aspect of things. That's what Corey is very good at, drawing. And so the fact is, when it comes down to drawing, that's the only way that you'll be able to communicate like you do today. It's one of the most effective technologies created by humankind, drawing.
Need a free phone? Listen up. If you're on SNAP, Medicaid, SSI, or Section 8, you're eligible for a brand
The Hindu story of Priya Pisnokar, the architect of Angkor Wat, is one of the most interesting ascension or abduction stories from the ancient world. In the myth of a non-human female, Soda Chan, came from Indra's heaven and married a human being and gave birth to this child.
As a young child, Priya Pisnokar would play by drawing complex designs in the sand. His mother left and flew back to heaven when he was at the age of 5, but she returned after some time, and wrapping her shawl about his shoulders, she carried him
Guess
off
what? There's
back to the
another,
heaven of Indra.
believe it or not,
He was brought into the royal
out.
palace of the god, and Indra asked him about the state of the suffering of humanity. Moved.
He was also credited to have designed to have.
I'm leaving one out. Not one, but there could be others. The fact is, Borobudur, did you know that Borobudur literally, it as well has everything that I've been trying to show going on there? That's crazy as hell, man. There should not be this many temples, and I mean as far as the mathematics, the numbers that I can show y'all, the same numbers are there. I can't remember what playlist that was, but there it is.
These ones have these nice links in there, but what's the nicest part is that
you see that right there? Bang, bam. This is what I'm talking about, boy. Do you see that shit? You see how they just popped up like that? That's what I'm talking about. That's it. I ain't even know they was gonna do that, and I did not see that the first time that I watched the video. I didn't know that this was. I didn't know that this was in the video. Look. Look real close. You see that? You see that right there? What does that look like? That's what I'm talking about. So I didn't see this the first time I watched the video. I watched this and noticed that the numbers, exact numbers that are in my discovery, are used there in building Borobudur. So therefore Borobudur is also, it also could have been drawn on that drawing that I showed y'all from my drive, but I couldn't fit everything there. I could obviously at this point put very many temples that did not get put there. It's crazy. I shouldn't be able to do that, and it's just what's more amazing to me is it's amazing that it's looked over. It's not like you looking to be worshipped or nothing like that. It's just like you see everybody else do things like go play basketball or, become dentists, become doctors and things like that. And they get more credit, but when you get somebody when people are talking about spirituality and they're showing you something about reincarnation, they're showing you a bridge between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. When you literally, look at what I'm doing. Everything I'm dealing with is spiritual. It goes back to it. And if we're here as human beings to grow as spirits, how do we look over people who are trying or showing growth of spirits? Showing that they have more knowledge about and mapping out even for you this key aspects of the spiritual realm that can help you. Just because he's dealing with a spirit in his life does not mean that he is evil or has ill intent or bad energy himself. I've literally got a quote that I've literally let people know several times in my life that I made myself. And that is, bad usually attracts good and good usually attracts bad. I know y'all know about the law of attraction. But the fact is, what does that teach you? Law of attraction teaches you that good is going to attract good, bad is going to attract bad. But if you go out here in the real world and you be good enough, it's going to attract bad people. They're going to take advantage of you. You be ultra good as you want to and just give. That's one of the goodest things you could do is give, be loving, give your love to everybody that come across you. Somebody going to take advantage of you. A lot of people give as much money away as you want to. Give as much food away as somebody going to take advantage of you. And if you likewise come out here and be bad, the best people or good people out here are the people who are the preachers and, people who run churches, supposed to be at least, and police and military people and stuff like that. And if you're bad or possessed, evil, something like that, that's where you attract good energy. You need good people, and the good people come for you more than the bad people do. That's who's trying to stop you in your evil endeavors. If you possess, that's who you got the good. You're attracting good now. Good people who are trying to cleanse you. So the thing is, just because you see me going through something, I mention that because the fact is, yeah, I'm harassed by a spirit and everything, but that don't mean that I'm evil or I got bad intent. That means that I got good intent at heart and at the core. That's why I'm able to know the things that I know and give the knowledge that I give with ease. It's a talent. It's a gift. But it attracts bad energy. Because if I literally kept on doing what I'm doing, ain't nobody else out here gonna clean your water naturally. I know how to, literally. Just like I'm showing you I know other stuff. I'm not lying about nothing. I'm showing the proof behind everything. Literally. And so what make you think I gotta lie about me knowing how to clean water in a natural way? Some stuff could be secrets, but use a giant magnet in order to help you attract and catch dirt or whatever nasty things in there, and use your intelligence you got it ain't impossible. I'm using a cell phone and I can see people, talk to people who can't see me. That at one point was just a thought, and here we are with it. Here, something like cleaning water with a giant pyramid, it ain't impossible. It's a billionaire idea. And so when you got somebody who literally set out to do that, and they got the copyright blueprint already, they deal with it. You dealing with somebody who know what they talking about, and you better come correct when it comes to trying to go against him, no matter what your problem is. Because he trying to fix problems. You obviously trying to be one. So what was our...
Hi, my name is Dr. Raza Jaffrey. I'm a board-certified anesthesiologist and a pain specialist.
Is important, repeated
as you can see,
numbers.
I've shown y'all several times. My bad, man.
Then you have...
I've shown y'all several times that the Chakana, when you type it in with AI and everything, it's not found in India. They don't have a name. You find the Chakana in India, of course, like Corey showed you, but the fact is they don't have a name for the symbol. The closest you're going to get to it is the Sri Yantra. SRIYANTRA. That's the closest you'll get to it. And that's not this. It has similar build and what it's trying to communicate, but it's not the same thing. And I can show what I'm talking about too. I don't know where you came from. Oh yeah, that's from me holding the button. So the Sri Yantra, that's what the Sri Yantra is. Like I said, it's the same build. Of course, it looks like, it has the same thing going on, just a different shape. I'll put it like that. The outline of it is much like the mandala, or not mandala, but the Nazca Sun Star, of course. But it's not the exact same thing. This is what you see and is a Buddhist Sri Yantra. When you look at the Nazca Sun Star, it's not the same thing. It's very important to understand that. They do look similar, but they are not the same thing. And that's something that very much needs to be understood. I know that you have archaeologists, geologists, and other people out here that have been to school, professors and everything. And I know I ain't been to school, and I could come across as somebody who don't know what they're talking about because he ain't been to school. And who is he to tell us? But here I am telling you and showing you some stuff. I'm not bragging. I have to always show that. I'm showing you some stuff that nobody else can show you, and I got all the facts to show and prove everything that I'm showing. It's just like that. I can't help that it's like that, but that's just the way that it is. And I'm telling you, it's not the same thing no matter what they say out here as far as them saying that this is a Buddhist mandala. That's not what this is. This is not a mandala. That's why a Buddhist mandala, when you look it up, it's the Sri Yantra, nearly, very similar. But that's not what that is. The thing is, they do have to deal with all roads leading to Rome, as they call it. It's different ways of communicating the same message, but they're not the same thing. Just like you have different letters in the alphabet, they all contribute to the same language, and they therefore have the same way of communicating the same message, but they're not the same thing as far as the individual letters themselves. Straight up. Man, I can't wait to actually be in classrooms teaching this, bro. And you see, this is India. This here is India. And so this is part of, literally, I mean, for whatever reason, they have to have that there. I'm paying attention to the elements that they consistently, when you're studying something, the frequency analysis of something. And it happens a lot. per depiction. And so you mean to tell me that India has a form of the Chakana, but they don't have a name for it? It's something that was frequently depicted in India, even as much as carved in stone, but they don't have a name for it. No book out here has a name for it. It's very important. One of the most important symbols on earth. Sure is. Therefore, the only time that you will find one more than 5 is 7 that I've seen so far. I have not seen any more than 5-1 besides this. And when you count these, you get 7 as far as counting the step. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 8 as far as the edges. But in between those, well, this is actually the hand-drawn depiction. This is not the real stone. When I counted the stone, it counts 7. Real life. Wow. I ain't seeing this one, but that's another one. They got plenty. When I tell you that they got plenty of them, I'm not playing with you. I literally, I'm so stocked up on work until it ain't funny, bro. I got so much work that I'm doing until it ain't funny, bro. When I tell you that it's so many of these temples that got this geometry, I'm trying to tell you, it ain't funny, bro. That it can be funny, that it ain't funny. I'm trying to tell you, it's like being filthy, stinking, fucking rich. I'm not playing. It's like, bro, like, I'm not playing. This shit crazy. When you see, this ain't just a drawing out some fairy tale shit. That shit is, that's like God setting out, that's like something that could see ahead of time, setting out all of this stuff. Because if, think about it, where can you see this in nature? You can't, right? Besides diamonds, like I showed y'all, when you zoom in on them with their octahedral lattice. But besides that, the fact is, if they didn't do all of this work that they did, I wouldn't have nothing that I could show y'all. I wouldn't have nothing to back what it is that I'm talking about right now. And then at all of the time as well, if they did know it, which I'm able to show that they obviously did, how come you can't show that they knew it? Why you can't find that knowledge nowhere? That means it was either hidden, or somebody wiped it out, it was lost, or it was reserved and it's secret at that point. Like I showed you with secret with Freemasonry. And they would keep something secret for somebody that they knew if a signature. It's not for nobody else. It's for somebody real important, like the NASCAR, yeah. Some government stuff. You talking about somebody right here. When I first made this discovery, bro, my grandma said, boy, that might be some government stuff, bro. She didn't call me bro, but she said that might be, her instincts was there might be some government stuff. You better be careful. And when I tell you that literally the CIA building, what I'm showing you, you can't come, the CIA building is built off of the same stuff. You're talking about people who are showing you, if you read their documents, that they're working with time travel. So if they could read into the future, that means that they would be able to know what the fuck I'm talking about. The future of America would be very important to them. They would see that if they got a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. You mean to see, if I'm telling you that there's a plan, literally, To build a pyramid here to clean water that they wouldn't see, that is one of the most intricate, one of the grandest projects on this land. That we don't have a stone pyramid on this land. So it'll be the first one. The first of anything is always the most memorable. Understand that. You can't wipe out what's the first. Once you first at something, you first. That's it. And that's why with that discovery, it don't matter what no man think of me if I died today. That's left behind. That's why a man is, what greatness makes a man, is what he does with his time. And that's for real. That's for real. It don't, and see, that's what I love too. I love that attitude. I swear. I know that y'all still listening. The fact that y'all left, I swear that means so much. You could feel like I'm juicing up my head, can't you? But the fact is, I'm not lying to you about nothing. Disprove me on what I'm saying, man. You a man, right? You think you know what's right? Could you show what's right? Because the fact is, what I'm telling you, a man is what he leaves behind. Your knowledge that you leave behind, what you stood for, whether it's your family, your kids that you live for, that's what you left behind. And if you don't leave behind anything great, ain't nobody gonna know you as whatever man you was. And that's straight up. What message did you leave behind? Did you leave drugs behind? As a drug dealer? That's the man that you're gonna be known as. And that's all that you will be known as. What did you leave behind? Money? Well, as long as that money is around, that's how long you're gonna be known. But once that money is gone, ain't nobody gonna know you for that. So, if you leave a message behind, like Martin Luther King left a message behind, like Tupac left a message behind, what they lived for, what they left behind was their message. And that's what's hard to wipe out, bro. It don't matter how much of a problem you have with them. Their message that they left behind, it's hard to wipe out. That's what matters. And it's the same thing with what I'm doing with mine that's set in stone. It's a message that's set in stone. No matter what your problem is with me, no matter what a man could come with, even if I died today, I left behind something that nobody could take away from me. It's copywritten. Even after I'm dead and gone, it's literally written down. It's signed that nobody could utilize my work unless I give them the rights to it. There is nothing nobody could take away from me. That's straight up. You can't steal what I'm doing. Even if a man thought to try to copy what I'm doing, shit, you taking away from how much of a man you are and giving how much I am. I'm a leader now and you a follower. If you were so much of a man, you'll have your own path as far as what makes you great. Because I know I ain't lying about nothing. What you leave behind makes you a man. That's the honest to God truth. Real talk. You see those temples and those pyramids that were left behind? They not just known as men, they known as kings, real kings. But the greatest things left behind is those, or biggest things hardest to destroy is them temples, them pyramids. And kings is what they known as, not just men. Everybody can't be a king. I'm not saying that I'm one, but that I'm doing something that they do. That's a fact. I will not ever just call myself king over everybody. I just want to be the king of myself, and that's it. I ain't trying to rule anybody. I'm just trying to get people to recognize, understand, and acknowledge what they fucking with, what you looking over, what you not acknowledging as is what it is right in front of your face. I ain't trying to be more man or above anybody. I'm being the greatest man that I can be, a step better than I was yesterday. Whoa. I'm gonna have to look that one up, because I ain't seen that before. That looks very much like, oh, it's small. That's why. Freaking crazy. All of these are different temples that have the floor plan that I'm showing you the geometry that I've discovered. My whole thing with this, because it's so powerful and the power was put in my hands, is to wipe out all curses and evil. It's a symbol of cancellation. That's what I stand for. If you literally could, that's what this would all do. Like a sigil. You know what a like it's like that guy brought up a signature earlier. Now check that out and then look at a sigil. Because I told you this is a signature. So you see what sigils look like, right? You see that? Those dots and things that come with it. I'm not into any of that. But a signature is a sign. Sig, sign, signature. Let it be labeled. Let it be marked. So, sig, sign, signature. The roots of it would have to deal with it, a mark or a label, a signature, a sign of nature is what I consider. Sign of nature. A natural sign at that point. And that's what this is pretty much a sign of nature, a natural sign. Remember what I said also earlier about me, if you pay attention to my work, it's bridging that of the spiritual with the physical. Well, check this out as well, something that authenticate what I'm saying. They say it's a bridge, but to bridge what? The Chicana, also known as the Inca cross, is a traditional symbol in Andean cosmology and worldview, representing the connection between different realms and elements. See what that says? It embodies the bridge between the earthly and spiritual realms. So literally, I'm telling you from an organic essence. If you go back and even look at my original videos, spiritual. And it's all, I come from an organics. I work from the subconscious. I tell this spirit that bothers me, you battling me, but until you understand that my power comes from the subconscious, that's why you won't ever be able to fully possess me. I'm not like the other ones. It's not finna fucking happen. That's why when I showed y'all that I could do the goosebumps, that voluntary pilot erection, let me show y'all some more stuff, some cool stuff too. We're just on a ride around tonight. How rare is it is what I'm getting at. Remember when I showed y'all that? I could do that easily. Well, the fact is, it's very rare. And it's so rare as how rare. It's so rare as how rare. Voluntary pilot erection, the ability to consciously induce goosebumps, is considered rare. Studies suggest that only a small percentage of the population can do so, with estimates ranging from 2.8% to potentially even lower. So that means it's a very low percentage of people that can do that. And the fact that I could, and they usually, the people that can do it, everything comes back around to one when I explain something. It could sometimes sound like it's rambling or going around places, but you got to pay attention to the shoestrings all coming to one knot. But at the end of the day, this is all spiritual. When I'm fighting with that spirit, I tell it all the time, I work from the subconscious. That's how I control that right there. Because you're not supposed to voluntarily be able to do that. But I can because I work from the subconscious. And that's tied to the spiritual. The subconscious is spiritual. And then the physical would be the conscious or the physical. Like I said, yeah, physical. And so, yeah, It embodies the bridge between the earthly and spiritual realms, the balance of the four cardinal directions, and the cyclical nature of the seasons. See that? 4,500 years. The numbers there. Egypt's pyramid was built 4,500 years ago. $4,500 years ago. This is the numbers 4 and 5. So if you're stuck on, if you drew everything out, what I drew right here is a number line. But a number line also, if you got the base sequence of time, it's a timeline too. So understand that the earth is also 4.5 billion years old, is what they tell you. Do I believe that it's this old? Yes, I do. I'm somebody who actually does somewhat conform to modern science. I'm going to tell you that. That's the truth coming from me. Over the flat earther stuff, I actually do conform more to the modern science. I'm telling the honest to God truth. I know a lot of people will say, how do you know that the earth is 4.5 billion years old? Well, there's a lot of things that you can observe in order to really understand that this place is very old. The rocks that y'all, the granite that y'all see around and stuff like that, you have to understand how long it takes to form something like that. For real. Take a long time to form all of that. That ain't just made in a snap of no finger. So, all of the species that are here, with the rate of how many species come, yeah. This place been here for a very long time. Now, one thing that I question myself that I know that y'all might not question, a big question in my life is, where is all of this material coming from? I don't think like a lot of y'all, but I question this a lot. Where is all of this material that we use coming from? I don't think some of y'all really look around at the world and pay attention to how much we use every day. How much steel goes into making one store or one skyscraper? And do you understand that with that one skyscraper, the steel that's made, how big of a hole in the ground you have to make outside in order to build that skyscraper? You got to dig, and where does steel come from? It comes from the ground, the ground. It can't come from the sky. So we know that the materials ain't coming from the sky. It got to come from the ground. It ain't coming from the water unless you're getting it from the ocean's floor. But the fact is, steel in itself, they have to dig holes on this ground. And I know that when you get in an airplane, for all of the skyscrapers, you're talking about New York City, you're talking about all of the trains, the tracks that are steel, the trains that are made of steel, you're talking about all of the stores that are made of steel, the military stuff made of steel, guns made of steel, cars made of steel and metals and stuff like that. Where are all of these holes at? Going back to my question, where is all of this material coming from? Because that's just steel. And then you got brick houses. You got houses and stuff. You know, stone, quarry and stones and stuff. Where is all of this stuff coming from? Like all of the stuff that we using in stores, where is all of this shit coming from? The store is what they made out of. The schools that are made out of a whole bunch of steel and stone. And where is all of this coming from, bro? Because I don't see a bunch of holes nowhere. Very important question. Very important question. Some people ain't gonna think like that, but for real, I think about that shit nearly every day. I know that what I'm seeing, I know math real good. You can tell on the screen. I know real good that the hole that I'm seeing that got to be taken out, I'm not seeing it out there. Hell no. I mean, goodness. How is New York City at the same level that it is if you pulling the steel from anywhere local to New York City? Has the ground even at the same level as it was years ago? The buildings all still at the same level. You digging ground from where to build them skyscrapers still today? Because they still building them today. They ain't stopped yet. You go to other states and you don't see huge holes. So something just ain't right. And that's just the mind that I think with. And with that, I'm going to leave y'all at a good night, man. I wanted to make a good, long, nice video. And I'm going to proceed with drawing for the rest of the night because I'm a little behind after this hour. But, yeah. Besides that, if you would like a Father's Day picture, do not forget about that because you have to get those in, the orders in early. I did one for J-Ma for Mother's Day, and I do not mind doing at least 3 for Father's Day. I just can't get too piled up because then I can't get them shipped out in time for them to reach y'all by Father's Day. But I would very much like to do business with y'all because I ain't got any other way to actually feed myself and everything.